Hello, welcome to the course about GIS for municipal management. This is the third module, but this is the first one about the practical part. So we are going to use GBC in this course. This is an open source application. It's free of charge. You can download it without problem from the GBC project website. So first we are going to see how to download the application. You have to access to www.gbc.com and then in products you can see the different products that are available. You have the GBC mobile application too for data gathering and GBC desktop. Here you have the downloads section where you will find the last version of GBC. At this moment is the 2.3.1, but in December of 2017 you will find the next one, the 2.4 version. There are two distributions. The first one is the version that you have to install in your computer. You have to download this the binary corresponding to your operating system, and then you have to install GBC in your computer. And there are a portable version that is a zip file that you have to unzip in a path without spaces or with accents, no spaces, no accents. And after the unzipping the zip file, you have to press you have to run GBC directly. In Windows, you have to run GBC with this file. And then after installing GBC, we are going to run the application. I'm going to run it from the console, but you will have in the installable version you will have the access from the desktop. And when we load, I'm going to use the last version, that is the 2.4, but it's in development. It's still in development, but I'm going to use this one. It's the same than 2.3.1. And after accessing to the application, in the 2.3.1 you will see the project manager. In this version you will find a view that is opened directly. So from the show and project manager, we have the project manager where we can manage our documents. We have the views. We have different type of documents. We have views where we are going to add the cartography. We also have tables that are the attribute tables associated to the vector layers of our views, or the tables that we can load independently. For example, if we have a table with the population of different municipalities, we can load this table from here, and we can use this table in GBC. Then we have the maps that are the graphical output of our views. If we have a view with the cartography, we can create a map with the legend, the north, scale, images, etc., with the logo of the company or of our organization, etc. And we also have charts that are the charts that we can create, the graphics that we can create from the numerical data of our tables. For example, we have a layer with the municipalities and the population we can create a graph, a bar or pie or bar charts with the different population of the different municipalities. So the first step is to create a view that is created from GPC 2.4 is created automatically. So if we don't have this view, we have to access to the view and new. So we have this view. We can change the properties of this view from here or from the view at the view menu and properties, where we can change the name of the view, for example view 1, and very important, we have to manage the reference system to select the reference system of the view. At this view we have this reference system because it's indicated in the preferences of the application. We're going to see now where we can manage the preferences. So if we want to change this reference system, we have to access only for this view, we have to access to this section. Here we have the recent ones. You will have probably only this one. As we spoke in the second module about reference systems, you have to use the codes for the different reference systems. So if we don't have the reference system that we need here, we have to access to EPSG or the other options, but we usually use the EPSG codes. For example, in our case, we are going to load several layers of San Francisco, and the reference system that we are going to use for these layers, because they are in that reference system, is 26910. Then we press enter, and here we have the only reference system with this code. We are going to accept and we apply, and here we have our first view in this reference system, because our layers, the layers of San Francisco that we are going to use, are in this reference system. If we load another layer that is in a different reference system, it will be reprojected. If it's a vector layer, it will be reprojected to the reference system of the view. Firstly, I want to show you from the show preferences. We are going to see the main preferences of the application. In general, you have the folders option, where you can select the folder where you have the projects or the data, the layers, etc. You also can change the language, for example in English. After changing the language from here, you have to restart GIS to see the application completely in your language. There are more than 25 languages available. Then another section, another important section is the network, where we can check if we have internet connection from GPC. If we press here, we can see that we have connection. So if we connect to a web map service or web feature service, etc., if we have an error, we get an error, we can check if the problem is the connection or the problem is the URL or the server. Maybe the server is is down, etc. If we have in our organization, in our city council, if we have internet access by proxy, we have to change the properties, the configuration here. We can copy the parameters from the browser, from Firefox, Chrome, etc., and we can paste them here. And the other main section is the view. Here we have the reference system by default. When we create a new view, it's created in this reference system. In my case, it was the reference system of my first view, and here you can change to the reference system that you use, that you usually use in your organization. You also can change the color of the selection when you select the elements, for example, or the zoom factor, etc. So if you want to change the reference system by default, you can select from here, and you can look for the reference system and then change it. And the other option is the layer order in the table of contents. The table of contents is this part of the view where we have the different layers, and the order is the same than we have in the view. And we have two options: the default order, where when we load a different layers, they are always in the top of the list. And we also have another option that is raster, polygon, line, or point. So the raster layers are down, then the polygon layers up under on the raster layers, then the line on the polygons, and points on the line and polygons and raster layers. After accepting, we have the preferences of the application. So we have changed the reference system of our view, and we are going to load a new layer. We have three parts in the view. We have the table of contents, where we can see the different layers, and the order here is the order in the view. At the view, we will have the cartography, the graphical part, and we also have this small window that is the locator. We will see the locator later. So the first step will be to load a new layer. We have to press here, and we have different type of layers. We can load different files from our computer or the computers in our company from the add button, and we can load raster and vector layers. Then we have different web services: web coverage service, web feature service, web map service, etc. Geodatabase, OpenStreetMap, and web maps. We will see them in the next modules of the course. So first we are going to select file and add. You will have the cartography to download for the different modules. So after unzipping the zip file, you will have the module 3. You will have these layers. We have a raster file, it's an orthophoto, and then 3 vector layers. So firstly we are going to load the raster layer, the orthophoto. We are going to open it, and we have this option. we can load the layer tiled or normally. If we load the layer tiled, it will be loaded by tiles, so it will be useful, very useful for very big images. So if we have an orthophoto that is 15 gigabytes, for example, we can use the tile option. But if it's a small image, we can use normally because it won't last time to load the layer. So normally in our case, and then we accept. So here we have the raster layer, the orthophoto about an area of San Francisco. Now we are going to load a new layer from add layer option, or this option is also in view add layer, and we are going to add a new file. It will be about the neighborhoods of San Francisco. We press open, and here we have the reference system. For raster layers, they are loaded in the reference system of the view, but in the vector layers, they are loaded if they have a PRJ file. For example, here we have the neighborhoods, the shapefile, as we told about in the first video, the first model. We have different files, the shapefile, and then the attribute table associated to the shapefile. This file is obligatory too, and the PRJ file can be with the rest of the files. This file contains the information about the reference system, and from GBC 2.3 the PRJ files are recognized. So here we have that this file is in this reference system, and it's the same than the view, so it will be loaded in the correct side. If the PRJ file indicates that the layer is in a different reference system than the view, it will say reprojected on the fly. So it will be reprojected. We will see this option in the next modules. So we are going to accept, and here we have the new layer. We can put it active in black, in bold option, and zoom to, with the secondary button we can press zoom to layer, and here we have the layer of the neighborhoods of San Francisco. The vector layers have an attribute table associated, so we can access from this button or from the secondary button and attribute table. And here we have the information that is available in this vector layer. As we saw in the first module about differences between GIS and CAD, in the GIS, in the shapefile, we have different type of information. We can have the names, the area, perimeters, the proprietaries, dates, etc. Different type of information. In the CAD files, we only have the layer, the color, text, and another 2 or 3 fields that with a concrete information, but not as many information as here, as in the shapefile. So we have the attribute table with different names of the neighborhoods. With this information, we can apply a symbology. For example, we have an only color for all the elements, but we can access to the properties of the file, of the vector file. We can access with the secondary button and properties, or double clicking on the layer. Here we have the general tab. Here we have the name of the layer, the scales where they are shown or not. For example, if we have a parcel layer and we are in this zoom, we can select that it's not visible. We also have the rest of the information, and at the second tab, the symbols, we can change the symbology. We have different type of symbologies by categories, by features, by quantities, where we have a numerical field, for example, by intervals with the area. We can change the symbology by intervals. Or by unique symbols is only one color, or for example unique values. We can select the field that we want to use. For example, we are going to apply a symbology by the name of the neighborhoods. We are going to select a color scheme, for example this one, because if we select this one, we only have 4 different colors. With this one, we have more different colors. We press add all, and here we have all the names of the neighborhoods. If we press apply, we can see all the neighborhoods with the colors. We also can change one of them or different ones. For example, this one, we can double click and we can choose only the symbol for this neighborhood. For example, we are going to change to red color, and the border with the width higher. We press accept, we apply, and here we have the this element with this symbology. So when we finish, we accept, and we have all the symbology, and here we have all the neighborhoods with the different colors. We also can change the colors from here. For example, from Excelsior, double click, and then green color, we accept, and here we have only for this one. Well, then we are going to see the symbology. We are going to access to the properties of the same layer, and we can change the label. Sorry, I said symbology, not. It's labeling. We can apply a labeling with, from the different fields. For example, we have to press enable labeling, and we have 2 options. The simple one, this is the simple one, and the advanced, where we can select, for example, a fixed text and then the name of the neighborhoods. For example, the word neighborhood, and then the name of the different neighborhoods. But we are going to apply a simple one, only the name, the text that is in the field. In our case, we are going to select the name. We can change the font type. We can change the height if we have it in a field, or a fixed, for example 10 and pixels. If we select 10 pixels, if we can see that the size is the same, but it's a screen unit only for the screen of our computer. But we can have problems when we create a map and we print or we export it to PDF file, because they are screen units, but in the paper we have metric units. So for that case we will have to select a metric unit, for example meters, and for example 300 meters. Then we can see that the size is always the same, so we won't have problems when we export to PDF our layout. Then we can change the color of the labels, and we also can, if we have a street layer, for example, if we have a field with the angle, we can select the field to rotate the different labels. So we apply, we accept, and here we have our layer, vector layer, with the symbology and the different labels. It's a polygon layer. The shapefiles can be a polygon layer, a point, or a line layer. Now we are going to add a new layer. From add layer, file, and add, and now we are going to load a line layer, in this case the streets of San Francisco. We press accept, and here we have it has a PRJ file, so it indicates that this is the reference system, and it's the same than the view, so it won't be reprojected on the fly. It will be loaded correctly. So we accept, and here we have the lines. It's a vector layer, so it has its attribute table with the different elements. And finally we are going to do the same, but with a point layer. We're going to add layer, add, and we have the food stores of San Francisco. We press open. This is it's in the same reference system than the view, so we accept, and here we have the food stores of San Francisco. It's a point shapefile. And finally, before finishing this video, we are going to see the locator. We can load a layer with the same extension of our view from view locator setup. This is one option. We can access and we can add layer, and we have to select the layer in our disk. But if we have the layer that we want to load, if we have this layer in the table of contents in our view, we can select the layer here, and then secondary button, and add to locator. So here we have the layer. If we use the main button of the mouse, we can zoom to an area, draw in a rectangle, and we can move to a different areas. So here, well, and then if we use the secondary button, we can move this zoom to another part. For example, here or here. it keeps the zoom, the scale, but we can move the zoom to another area. And finally, if we want to quit the application, if we want to close GBSig, we will have to save the project. The project, as we told in the first video, in the first module, about differences between GIS and CAD, the project file won't contain the layers. It will be only a text file with the different paths to the different layers. So it won't be, the size will be only several kilobytes, and not gigabytes if it has orthophotos, for example. So if we have the project, this folder, and the cartography inside this folder, if we want to send the project file to another person, we will have to send the next folder. So we are going to save the project first, from File, Save Project, or Save As, and we are going to access to this folder. For example, here we have the cartography, and I'm going to save it as project 1 and save. So the project, it's only, the size is only 47 kilobytes, but not gigabytes or megabytes. So we had several layers, for example this one, almost 10 megabytes, but the project file doesn't contain the layers. So if we want to send this project to another person, we will have to send the further folder, this folder. So if we send the one course folder, including module 3 and project 1, if the other person saved this folder in his or her computer, if that person opened the project 1, it will see all the layers that the project had. And now we can close GBSig and continue with the next module soon. So we see you in the next module.